Who is it? Who is it? Around! Around! Who is it? Who is it? Around! Around! This is New Orleans!
What's the mindset right now as we sit days away from free agency?
Sit back and be, grateful and thankful for the time in New Orleans, kind of seeing my growth as a player and a person, on and off the field. Super excited that, I feel like I did a really good job and put pretty good things on film, and the production was there and the growth, like I said, was there. And now, give 31 other teams an opportunity to look at that tape and then also, ask questions about who I am as a person and bet on me and negotiate with me. Yeah, so super calm, super confident. But like I said before, super blessed to even be in this position from where I come from.
The way you finished and your team finished in New Orleans, yes, 31 other teams have an opportunity. Would I be out of line to say that New Orleans would be the 32nd team to still have an opportunity to talk with you?
I wouldn't say you would be wrong. I think we've had conversations and negotiations, man, and ultimately I feel like I'm very appreciative of the time out there. I'm very appreciative of them taking a chance on me and giving me an opportunity. But I'm super excited to just kind of see what free agency has to offer.
You in New Orleans, where you have migrated not just an outside corner, but you moved into that nickel slot and played it with such aplomb. How would you describe your game going forward, and how much do you enjoy playing in those types of positions as opposed to what you were trained to do, playing that outside safety coming out of school?
I feel like I'm one of the best free agent players coming out. I definitely feel like I'm the best free agent corner coming out. Just that versatility, man, being able to play inside, play outside, and be able to help any team at whatever they need, right? Feeling like I could possibly be that CB1 guy for a team. And, if I ever have to go into the slot to guard your best receiver who you move into the slot, now I've shown that I can go in there and play comfortably. I feel like I bring a lot of attributes to the table. And like I said before, man, I do feel like I'm one of those best guys available. And I feel like a lot of teams out there feel the same way.
All right, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in this episode of the show. Sports Coma representing. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. For all your prop bets, go to FanDuel. Y'all hit the like button, sub button, notification bell, and share button as we get going in this broadcast. The words of Alontae Taylor, the free agent defensive back Alontae Taylor, embracing and getting ready to hit free agency as one of the top cornerbacks. In several lists, free agency lists, have Alontae as one of the top guys. If he's not first, he's either second or third in many different lists. So shout out to NOLA.com. They did do a good job in kind of letting us know about the Alontae Taylor situation and the fact that the free agency period, he's basically sending out messages to the city to let them know we're here. And the Saints ultimately are going to let Alontae Taylor, I believe, go in free agency, man. And you heard some of the, you hear some of the things that he's saying, the tweets that we've seen with Alontae Taylor. We're just bracing for it. And he was like one of the cases we talked about in our family about what is going to happen with Alontae Taylor. I think the Saints ultimately, we said it at the end of the season, I thought he would be the one the Saints lose. Now there could be others, of our top guys. We know that Cam and DeMario both are out there in the free agency testing their value. And there are teams that have staff or that are in control of the teams right now that have access to or had familiarities with DeMario and Cam Jordan, right? And it's across the league, whether it's, and of course I know some of these guys want to play for contenders, but you have Chicago, Dennis Allen connection there. There's the Clint Kubiak connection with the Raiders. So you never know, man, what could happen here with the Raiders trading out Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. That was crazy. Could they be open to bringing a guy like Cam Jordan in to help set the cultures of the Raiders? I mean, you never can tell the free agency, right? But anyway, in terms of one of our key free agents that won't come back, Alontae Taylor is the guy. He thanked the city of New Orleans and the Saints support base for his first 4 seasons of his NFL career on Friday. This post is what Alontae Taylor did say. New Orleans, thank you for letting me shine, quote, the Big Easy, end quote. Taylor's post on X read. And then he said, quote, dash uno, end quote, uno, right? The number 1. So the post concluded with a peace sign and a prayer hand emoji, kind of shooting out and letting us know from the inside that he definitely is going to head somewhere else. And there are multiple reports of teams that are interested in Alontae Taylor, the Cowboys, the Raiders, and others. But Taylor, I just played the report of him saying how he felt about himself in free agency and what he can bring in terms of his versatility. So you hear from the wise words of the man himself. But in 17 games and 16 starts last year, 2 interceptions, deflected 11 passes, and finished the year with 83 tackles and 2 sacks. If Alontae Taylor can get those picks up and his coverage better, things could look a lot higher. But he will definitely look, according to various reports, are indicating that he wants between $15 to $18 million a season. And the Saints are simply not going to give Alontae Taylor that kind of money. They're not going to do it. They're not going to give Alontae Taylor $15 to $18 million a season. And we knew going into it, being that his market will be elevated because of the fact that, he's seen as one of the top guys in the market. So, we understand that, and we will embrace that. If you look at the cap right now, it's 19.9, almost $20 million in cap the Saints currently have. And that's just not going to be the case for Alontae Taylor, as he will eventually, end up leaving there. So it's unfortunate, but this is, it was still great and cool to still have Alontae Taylor on our squad as a cornerback over these last several years, watching him develop into a solid player for us. And Saints couldn't get a deal done coming into his last year, and things broke down during the year. And then ultimately, when it was all said and done, the Saints stand a chance of losing him in terms of that. So it's going to be interesting, how we deal with that. But man, listen, man, shout out to him for what he's given the city. We always respectful and congratulatory of our players and what they brought to the squad. So Alontae Taylor is one of our favorites. He was always a player that did some stuff. We just wish we had more interceptions from Alontae Taylor. But in the end, shout out to him. And then this is a little extra to give, a little sports coma extra to kind of drop on him. And this could be something to think about, like in terms of Saints tried to trade, or there were rumors about him being traded prior to the deadline last year, right? And there was too much take. I think one of the teams saying that the Saints wanted too much for Alontae Taylor. They pivoted and went in a different direction. But if the Saints lose Alontae Taylor in free agency, they would likely receive a mid to late round compensatory pick, potentially a 4th or 5th future draft pick, provided that they lose more or better free agents than they sign, right? So losing him also offers immediate salary cap relief. The key details regarding the compensation and losses model is if he leaves for a higher value contract, it qualifies the Saints for compensatory picks. So the value with the projection model suggests that the losing a high level players on expiring contracts like Alontae and others helps the team to gain draft capital, potentially in the 3rd to 7th rounds, depending on several factors, right? So we'll see how it all reigns and goes, but it's one of these situations where it definitely kind of makes you think about it. But in the end, it's just how it goes. We have to be able to keep it moving and grooving, and ultimately, I think that he will score a $15-18 million relief. And if the Saints sign free agents that's around his value, or if his elevated value, that could wipe that out too. You see what I'm saying? You could lose that based on how it goes. So it's a model depending on how the Saints activate in free agency as well. But some tell me that might not be the case based on the fact that you could see something, the Saints add high value free agency, right? So we'll see. But what I'm referring to in terms of that is what they call the cancellation rule. And that, that to you actually receive the pick, the Saints must lose more high value qualifying free agents than they sign from other teams during the current free agency period. If the Saints sign a high-price free agent themselves, it could cancel out the pick earned from losing Taylor. You get what I'm saying? So this could be a situation where the Saints are active and they could possibly lose out on the compensatory pick. Now, that's way down the line, to say the least, about where we'll be there. But on the plus side of it, it simply is what it is in terms of Alontae Taylor, and it's just congratulations to him for all that he did, and much success and fortune for him going forward with his new team. All the success in the world, just when you play us, no success. Sorry, that's how it goes. But anyway, with that being said, man, what do you guys think about the Alontae Taylor thing? 15, 18 million. I'm not willing to go that high. I've said that before, 12, 13. Even I can even move on 14 a little bit, but nothing over 50. I was like, nah, 15, 18 million. I would not be willing to give that to Alontae Taylor. What if Alontae Taylor was a guy that got picks? Like for the last 4 years, his pick total was double. Maybe it was 9 or 10 picks. Would you guys feel better with him doing that? Like if he actually had like 8 picks or 9 picks over the last 4 years as opposed to a pick a year, how would you guys feel about that? Y'all let me know in the comment section. But $15 to $18 million is a lot of money for Alontae Taylor at that spot. And I think the Saints agree about that. And they probably go about replacing them either in free agency or potentially in the draft. There are options on both sides of the fence, depending on where you fall in terms of the Saints. We'll see how they activate and do. So with that being said, man, fill in the comment section. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about that. Shout out to FanDuel, the official sponsor of the show. Get all your prop bets in at FanDuel. Also, feel free to hit all of the bells, the notification button, subscribe to the Sports Coma for more news on your black and gold, man. It's getting busy. March 9th is getting here, man. A lot of these rumors are populating, man. So if you want to be in the know, hit that subscribe button, man. And I promise to keep you updated. Shout out to y'all, and I'm going to holler at you on the next one, Mud. Much love, peace, and who that take?
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Hey, New Orleans! Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with thewhodatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit thewhodatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.